Welcome. So today we would be discussing the NTA paper analysis, and this paper analysis would be for the 5th of December. Now, as we have been seeing the trend for the last few days, the trend remains more or less the same. You had questions from Indian logic that was asked, and this was again, this time the questions were based on Anuman. You had questions on Hetu. So those were the very expected questions, and we already had the links in the previous videos that we have taken, where we had talked about the important videos that you must watch. There was one important question that was on Digital India, and this is a kind of contemporary development of the questions that have been seen, so covered under the expected series as always. So you have another set of questions that were from the very basics of environment, talking about the protocols, the Kyoto Protocol, the Montreal Protocol. Under education, you had the Kothari Commission, the Mudaliar Commission, the Radhakrishnan Commission, the chronological order, which commission came first and which later. So again, we have covered those through our evening classes. The next set of question under this was, which British ruler basically brought about Indian university education system? So again, an important question. Coming on to computing, you had direct questions related to WWW, ROM, RAM. So those were the kind of very basic question. Effectiveness of teaching, what teacher basically looks into, how teacher can understand, were the kind of questions under teaching. No questions on syllogism. You had questions on square of opposition. So square of opposition, you had around 2 questions that were seen. Questions from blood relation. Again, you had the coding decoding questions. Questions from alphabet series and number series as always. But as we have seen throughout the sets, you had questions on interest, and this time it was the question on compound interest again. So for the last set, students preparing for 6th of December, simple interest, compound interest becomes very important, as you have been seeing at least one question across the sets. So cover that very carefully. Questions on communication, 2 questions, and Indian logic, the very basics of Paksh, Hetu, the Sapaksh, Vipaksh, Lokik, Alokik. So those were the kind of questions. Coming on to the ancient education system, you had questions coming up from Nalanda, Takshila. Questions were regarding these universities were known for which branches. Was it mathematics, was it astrology, science, and so on. So ancient education system, ancient higher education system has been a key focus. Across the sets, we have seen a more of a changed pattern through the last years, where you had increasing focus on Indian philosophy that has been seen, and Indian ancient education system. So those two are the very important topics that you need to keep in line with. Definitely we will be coming up with analysis tomorrow again, and have a wonderful evening. Enjoy.